entitled Seattle is Dying, and it focused on issues with the homeless, with crime, and with pollution in Seattle, or at least litter in Seattle. The question from the audience is, what is your reaction to Como's Seattle is Dying program? Jesse.
My heart absolutely broke when I saw that. And I work on homelessness, and I can tell you it opened my eyes to a few things. I don't agree with some of the statistics that were there. It was very narrow, but at the same time, it really tapped into the feeling we have here in Seattle, is that when we walk down the street, we see needles. When we go into our parks, we're finding out in the open drug use. This isn't acceptable. I am not talking about going out and cracking down and criminalizing everyone that uses, but to allow dealers to go out there and have up to 30 hits of methamphetamine or heroin on them before the police do anything, that is not okay. We need to crack down on these dealers that are coming into our city and spreading this poison from everyone. My father died of this. We need to stop this.
So my response to this question is similar to the one related to the prolific offenders report. It is a reminder of the crisis that we see around us every day. The reaction I had to watching that was a visceral reaction, and I also had a lot of shame that a city of our wealth has people whose lives are in degradation, and that their needs aren't being met, and that the suggestion is that the criminal justice system is the answer to that problem. Again, I'm going to go back to the concept of expanding LEAD. That is a world-renowned program. It is successful, and it links people to the social services and the housing that they need in order to address their underlying issues. Also, there's Ricky's Law is something that the state authorized. It allows for involuntary treatment, and that is something that we need to look at using once we have more drug treatment beds.
Brendan?
Thank you. My reaction in seeing that documentary was two parts. One was sorrow, because this is a city I've lived in for almost 12 years, and this is where I raised my children. This is the only home they've known, and it really brings me a lot of pain that we've come to this. The other reaction was validation for my decision to run for city council, because I feel like I honestly can provide assistance. The reactions, the interviews with the SPD officers and the various people, some of whom I know very well, are quite on point. Morale is very low. Officers don't feel like they're supported to do their job, but we can change that. We can change that by getting a new culture at City Hall, one that's supportive of law enforcement, one that makes our officers feel like if they go out and they make contacts for allegedly low-level offenses, which I would argue is somewhat of a misnomer, that they will be supported, and that we want them to do the job that they've been hired to do, and that they do with a great deal of pride.
Phil?
I mean, the reaction I had to that was just that it's tragic. It's tragic, it's wrong, it's unacceptable. Now, I felt the title maybe would be better as Seattle is Failing, because I think we're still at a point where we can deal with this. I mean, the 2015 homeless count numbers were 3,700, and in the last 4 years, they've exploded to over 12,000. So that means the city is failing. The city is failing to protect people who are in those situations, and the city is failing to protect everyone else. It's a city of 800,000 people with over 12,000 homeless. We have $6 billion a year we generate in tax revenue. You cannot tell me that is not enough to deal with this problem. If it was 250,000 people, I could understand, but it's under 15,000. And by the same token, we have got the opportunity to support the police to go out and do their job, because the truth is, if someone defecates in front of a police officer and they're not arresting them, that's wrong. That means something is going bad in this city, and it's a failure. And we can change that. We just need to do it now.
Isaiah?
Yeah, so for all the people in this room, I'm a Seattle resident my entire life. Seattle's my home. I didn't move here. I did not come out of nowhere. I lived Seattle my entire life. This is my city, and the accurate report was a misinterpretation of our city. We can come together collectively. We can use transparency with the donation money. The report in Como News didn't accurately reflect the Seattle, Washington. We are all good people, and like, we're not dying. We're trying to live. We're trying to elevate. We're trying to fix the homeless. We're trying to fix the trans. We're all trying to do it in a positive way. And I represent small business owners, and I live in Seattle. So the whole Como report, what I think about it was just a misinterpretation of Seattle money.